I don't understand the hate around this movie because this new Wuthering Heights is a fairly accurate adaptation of the book. It only changes few things such as characters, themes, morality, story, and plot. And sure, it does add a little bit of extra things such as unnecessary shocking images, lots of horny scenes, and jokes. Yes, we have jokes in Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights adaptation. Wow! Ever since the first trailer came out, I knew that this movie was going to suck, so I read the entire book just so that I can be a better hater. Now, before I start shredding this insult of an adaptation to pieces, you need to understand about the book. Believe me, understanding the book just makes hating on this movie so much better. See, Wuthering Heights is a story about a psycho dude named Heathcliff and a crazy bitch called Catherine. Heathcliff and Catherine are siblings and they fall in love, but don't freak out, it is 1700s and Heathcliff is adopted. Actually, that's the whole point. So they both fall in love as kids and they really love each other so much. Catherine is obsessed with Heathcliff, so she decides to marry Edgar. Because Edgar is from higher status and Catherine really wants that high status D. Now when Heathcliff learns about it, he basically goes bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks and bounces off to some unknown place for many years. While Heathcliff is gone, Catherine here is enjoying her life with Edgar, but she still misses that Heathcliff D, you know, like she has that regret that, oh, maybe I kinda screwed up. And guess what? Heathcliff comes back and he has only one goal on his mind, vengeance. He wants to destroy everyone's life here, including his own. To do that, he starts an affair with Catherine and marries Isabella. Isabella is Edgar's sister. So this way he kills 3 birds with 1 D. Now here's the crazy part. Even though Catherine has an affair with Heathcliff, she doesn't want Edgar to be upset about it. She kinda wants both of those D at once, but unfortunately for her, Edgar and Heathcliff are not into threesomes. Which pisses off Catherine, and bitch throws temper tantrum so hard that she starves herself to death. Now there is more to story, but we will talk about it later with more context. Now my silly commentary aside, this book does explore very important themes, main being hurt people hurt other people. But it also explores cycle of generational violence, prejudice, racism, broken hearts, emotional manipulation, revenge being like a big part of this book, domestic, physical, emotional, any kind of you can throw out there, this book has it. Emily Brontë absolutely kills it in this book. I loved it and it is so much ahead of its time. It is an ugly story of loathsome people who hurt each other and every single person around them. Now why would you take such an important story and turn it into horny garbage like this? Now, if you think from perspective of a degenerate producer, this idea makes sense. Say you have 2 very hot stars in lead, you hire the director of Saltburn, and you release a really raunchy, horny type movie for female audiences to enjoy. Now to make it seem as it is not very cheap, you just loosely adapt Wuthering Heights so you can slap the name on it, trying to make it more legit. Is it a very disgusting thing to do? Yes. But again, think from perspective of a degenerate producer and suddenly all of it makes sense. Imagine you're making a movie about Gandhi, but for lead role you cast a Chinese actress. Realize how ridiculous that sounds? Because no matter how good the actress is, the role doesn't make sense anymore because a biopic about Gandhi will be directly related to him being brown, right? Him being Indian. Heathcliff is not white. And that is the whole point. His ethnicity is a little bit ambiguous, but it is very clear that 1, he's not white, and 2nd, he is of a darker appearance, and because of that, he faces a lot of hate and prejudice in the book. It is the cornerstone of his personality, how he develops. During his childhood or during his teen years, he faces a lot of hate in-house and outside of house everywhere. Now when you change this character, and I don't know why all of the adaptations do this, but when you take this character and you turn it white, it doesn't make any sense. It is no longer the same character. And it just shows you how performative and fake Hollywood activism is, because they will keep casting people of color in roles where there was no need for person of color and keep creating this rage on internet. But now when they had opportunity to accurately cast a person, they turned him white. What the Now imagine turning Heathcliff white was not enough for them, so they turned Edgar brown. The stupid tone-deaf activism. In the book, there is an incident, right? In the movie, Catherine herself meets Edgar when they're adult and everything, but in the book, it doesn't happen that way. In the book, Heathcliff and Kathy, they both are hanging out and accidentally end up at Edgar's house, right? So both of them meet Edgar at once. But Edgar's family treats him like shit. Like the amount of hatred and prejudice Heathcliff faces there is absurd. Not just that, but they make sure to treat Catherine with a lot of love and happiness just to rub it in Heathcliff's face. And this encounter becomes the cornerstone. This is the moment where Heathcliff decides that, you know what, bro, I'm gonna destroy some lives once I become powerful. So they basically race swapped two key characters of the book that are entirely dependent on their skin colors. It is so stupid. It's just. Now, after removing the race angle, they still need something, right? So that Heathcliff can be treated poorly and he starts taking his revenge. So what do? You turn on the poor people angle. See, in the book, Catherine doesn't marry Edgar instead of Heathcliff because she is poor and she needs that Linton money. No, none of that. She marries Edgar simply because she is crazy conflicted bitch who is also very selfish. And in the book, entire time Catherine knows that what she is doing is wrong, but she does it anyway. And later when she regrets making this decision, it is her fault. Her misery is of her own doing. She's a spoiled brat and she pays the price for it. That is the point. In the movie, all of this complexity is removed. In the movie, she marries Edgar because Catherine herself is poor. So she's like, you know what? If I marry Edgar, I'll be rich and I'll be out of all of my problems. In the movie, her decisions are now very reasonable. Sure, they might not be very fair to Heathcliff, but it makes a lot of sense. All of her wretchedness, all of her evil manipulative nature is mostly gone. This was the worst one. See, Catherine and Edgar, the relationship worked because Catherine is a manipulative, needy, selfish person. Edgar, on the other hand, is a people-pleasing simp. See, in the book, there's a moment where Edgar and Catherine, they're kind of in love, they're teenagers. So Edgar goes to Catherine's house to hang out, like, hey, yo, what's up? So during all of this, Catherine abuses a baby in front of him. Then, when her maid interrupts, she abuses her maid. And then, when Edgar interrupts, she abuses Edgar as well. And do you know what is Edgar's reaction after all of this? This moron asks her to marry him. He is that kind of a person, and that is exactly why he keeps putting up with Catherine's tantrum and emotional manipulation throughout the whole book. Do you know what happens in movie? Like, they both just meet each other once. Like, Edgar looks at Catherine and he's like, damn, shorty, you're really pretty. And Catherine is like, damn, boy, you're really rich. And they just, like, fall in love and get married. This entire power dynamic between them is completely removed. What the hell? Now remember in the beginning I said, like, when Heathcliff comes back, he starts affair with Catherine, but he ends up marrying Isabel because he wants to hurt this family and all of these people in maximum way possible. Now in the book, Isabella knows that Heathcliff is a terrible person. Not just that, but people around him, they warn her that, hey Isabella, this guy is a douchebag, he sucks, don't marry him. But she marries Heathcliff anyway. It is kind of subtle in the book, but at the end it is ego thing in a way, like she doesn't want to accept that Heathcliff is a terrible person, otherwise that will like destroy all of her mental images. However, in the book, Heathcliff is so abusive and hurtful to Isabel that eventually, she just finds her self-respect. She realizes that screw this dude, I cannot put up with him, and she runs away while being pregnant and then raises the child by herself. So in a way, she finally finds her self-respect and starts living independently, and that is how her arc ends. Do you know what happens in movie? They turned it into a fetish angle. Oh my god, like, they literally looked at this and they were like, you know what guys, we can throw some kinky angle into it. Are you insane? Now, just like the book, in the movie, Isabella marries Heathcliff despite knowing that he sucks. But after moving to Heathcliff's house, like as his wife, she starts helping him. Now, all of this happens in the movie with understanding that Isabella is mentally challenged. And not just that, like when Heathcliff is emotionally abusing her, she's like smiling and like putting up with him while being abused, and they turn it into like, oh my god, both of us are so crazy. Oh my god, we're so toxic. A raw X day. It comes to the point where Heathcliff literally has Isabella on all fours as a dog, and she's like woofing and doing this while smiling and like being cheerful, like, oh my god, I'm really enjoying this abuse. because I'm mentally challenged. And if that wasn't enough, they removed her self-respect arc completely. As I said, in the book, she finds her self-respect and she runs away by herself. In the movie, that doesn't happen. In the movie, she is saved by Catherine, which is the stupidest shit ever. Like, Catherine sends some people and they rescue Isabella. Because in the book, Catherine absolutely hates Isabella. Because, Catherine loves Heathcliff, but Isabella ends up marrying him. So because of that, she loathes Isabella. So in a way, they didn't just ruin Isabella, they ruined Catherine's character even more through her. In the book, there's this character called Nelly, and she is the one who describes the entire event. She was the house servant, and she tells the entire story of what happened at Wuthering Heights. The key thing about her character is that she is neutral for the most part. I'm not saying that she never tries to interfere, she does, but there are a few consistent things with her. One is that she, at the end, always wished kind and best for everybody else, and she only did something hurtful or mean when she was pushed to her limits. And even though she does try to control some things in book, like, okay guys, let's make sure that doesn't happen, oh, make sure that does happen, most of the time she is not successful, and that's the point. Because even though being part of a family, at the end she is always reminded that, you know what, you're a servant, and she doesn't hold as much power as the actual members of the family. Not just that, but her being neutral is very important, because now we can trust her as a narrator. Like, when she is describing all the events, she doesn't hesitate to accept her own flaws. She admits that she did many things wrong, and because of that, we can trust her. Now, what do they do in the movie? Now, first of all, she's no longer a narrator. She's like a character as everybody else, which again defeats the whole purpose of her character. Not just that, but she is also no longer neutral in the movie. She clearly has malice and this kind of jealousy towards Catherine, and she actively tries to hurt her in many different ways. Like in the book, as I said, Nelly does try to control things and she does share information around, but she always did it with intention of helping everyone and to keep situation under control so bombs don't explode all around. In the movie, it's all gone. She's just like this typical servant who has jealousy for her mistress and then she does horrible things. What a waste of a character. See, in the beginning I didn't tell you the whole story of the book. Here's what happens. Catherine dies in chapter 14, I think, right? Do you know how many chapters are in the book? 34. She dies even before reaching halfway into the book, and that is very important because she dies while giving a birth, meaning she leaves a little girl behind. Same way Heathcliff also ends up having a kid. Remember, Isabella runs away with a child? So now we get the entire story of Catherine's daughter and Heathcliff's son, and how Heathcliff torments both of them. Like, the way he tortures Catherine's daughter and his own son and Edgar and Nelly and all of them afterwards is insane. The way he torments all of these people is psychotic. It is insane. Like, you loathe Heathcliff, like, with passion by the end of the book. Like, you feel so happy when he dies at the end of the book. It is like, truly feels like a victory that finally the dude is gone. And of course he dies on his own term. Like, just like Catherine, he also starves himself to death. It's like he just goes full cuckoo at the end. So now, how did the movie end? Well, it ends after Catherine's death, like right there. She tries to give birth, but the baby dies and she also dies, and bam, the entire story is over. It is so lame, the ending of this movie. Not just that, but they removed cycle part from the cycle of violence. And let's say, even if I ignore the book, the ending of this movie still sucks ass. It is so boring. Guys, like, last 15 to 20 minutes of this movie were so painful to sit through. For the first time ever in cinema, I checked my phone 3 to 4 times because I just couldn't wait for this movie to be over. It gets that boring at the end. There's zero substance backing up all of these slow ass scenes. Okay, this part was the moment where I just lost it and started cursing out loud in the cinema. See, in the book, as I said initially, Edgar is a simp, right? But eventually in the book, by the end, he finds his self-respect, right? After Catherine's death, he gets livid. He gets upset with Heathcliff, right? He hates his guts. And it makes sense, right? Like, dude just came in, started affair with your wife, married your sister, then abused both of them, and is the reason why your wife died. That's crazy, right? Like, so Edgar hates Heathcliff's guts, right? Do you know what happens in the movie? So in the movie, affair still happens. Like, Cathrine cheats on Edgar with Heathcliff, and Edgar finds out about it, and he is upset. However, in the movie, after Catherine's death, Edgar goes and apologizes to Heathcliff. He's like, sorry, bro, I couldn't save her. I'm so sorry. What the fuck? Like, why would Edgar apologize to Heathcliff after Heathcliff literally ruined his entire life? I think here's I'm gonna be in minority and disagree with a lot of people. I think people are confusing really pretty visuals with good visuals. They are not the same thing. Yeah, this movie looks aesthetically pleasing, but none of the sets or none of the locations look believable. You never feel that these locations are lived in. You never get like a full sense of proper scale or like what is happening. And again, as I said, like, characters are staged very awkwardly, and a lot of the scenes, I'm not saying that they are CGI, but they kind of look CGI. It looks weirdly fantastical, like that Frankenstein movie. But it worked for Frankenstein, you know, because it is literally like a magical story. It doesn't work here. I didn't think this movie was very good looking. Sound, however, was surprisingly good. Like, I was very skeptical considering, you know, the kind of music Charlie XCX does. I was like, how will that fit into a period drama like Wuthering Heights? But she does a very good job. Like, some of the songs that play and how it is incorporated, they feel modern, but they never feel like wrong or offensive. Also, this song is really good. I enjoy it. The music video is very nice. Also, none of the performances were that good, to be honest. Margot Robbie does an okay job. Jacob Elordi is not good. Like, he keeps doing this, as I said, there's this mewing Giga Chad type face during the entire movie, and he has this, like, he tries to do this gravelly voice the entire time. It's very wooden, it's very stiff. The dude doesn't have any range at all. It worked very well for Frankenstein, does not work here. So yeah, that's what I thought about New Wuthering Heights. Absolute insult of an adaptation. Guys, watching this movie in cinema was such an awkward experience. I kid you not. So usually I watch movies by myself, you know. I just go there and I watch it. And because I was reading the book, I saw it on 14th instead of 13th. So I didn't know it was Valentine's Day. I was that lost in the sauce. And so I just went there, and it's just couples all around. This, you know, like just being, and I just felt so out of place. Like, I went to a ticket window, and I asked the girl, you know, like, hey, can you give me a ticket? And she's like, how many do you want? And I was like, just one. And I still remember the look on her face. She was like, bro, really? You're gonna watch this movie by yourself between all of these couples? I'm just glad there were like a lot of empty seats, and I just sat in one of the corner by my, like, with nobody near me, and I was just like, okay, let the torture begin. So it was very weird, and on top of that, the movie was horrible. So also, that Kate Bush song is genuinely really good. After I came home, I listened to that song on repeat the entire evening. Like, entire time I was like trying to structure this video, it was just spinning in my head. I was like, that high pitch voice of Kate Bush just works so well for, you know, this ghost character of Cathrine she's playing. It's really good. And also reading the book. Guys, read the book. It's really good. Emily Brontë is the baddest bitch out there. Like, goddamn. And if you struggle to read classics, just do it the way I do. It's like really old books, so there are plenty of audiobooks and PDFs out there. So what you do is you play audiobook, but you also read the book at the same time. It makes it so easier. Also, there's this character of Jacob. Like, I think I would not have understood anything he says if it wasn't for the audiobook. By the way, guys, channel is monetized. Like, seriously, less than a month ago, like before I uploaded that Mercy video, I had like 60 subscribers. Now it's more than 1,000, and channel is monetized. Like, they accepted me in partner program, and bam, Holy, like, I still can't believe it. It is amazing. Thank you so much. Like, I cannot thank enough to everyone. That Mercy video is now over 100K. Like, wow. And to all the 2 or 3 people who actually watched this video to this point, thank you so much. I will see you next time. Until then, goodbye, take care, and have some fun with fiction.